welcome. Thank you for joining me on a Thursday. I hope it wasn't too awkward for anybody, or maybe you prefer it. So we are stitching, more stitching tonight. We are carrying on with this little one from our Gingerbread village. This is what we're going to make tonight. I've done a little bit more stitching on where we were last week, just so done some of the boring stuff and we can do some more fun stuff tonight. So I'm not going to waffle on too much, and we're going to get stitching quite soon. So this is where we were yesterday. So I've done last week, I've done the another window and the door and a little bit up here, and then I'm going to, well, I've got some plans. So part of my plan was I've drawn a little sketch of what I'm hoping to create, because I kept thinking about it last night and I keep forgetting. But you'll see from this sketch it's different to where we were here and kind of what I put on our stitch guide, but it's just kind of to show that everything's mixed and match, and you can kind of just create your own designs or follow one of the stitch guides. That's kind of why I wanted to put on the instructions why I didn't kind of like, so this is the stitch guide, which is quite intricate, and then on the template kind of I've just put limited lines of what you should follow, so you don't kind of get overwhelmed and kind of like you have to commit to what I've done. You can do what you like. Case in point, this is another little extra that you can make with your
Learning how to choose the right audio apps for you. Which one do you want to use to listen to this?
Everybody here? Alexa just joined in with some random question. Alexa was just telling me what it's like to have coronary heart disease. Oh, this is what I was going to say. This is like a little extra project that you can make if you're not super into making the 3D houses. I've just turned one into just like a flat decoration, and I kind of really tried to limit my colours, so I've just got white, gold and pink on here, but it's still using the same size templates and everything, but now this is just a nice one that you can hang on your tree. So let us do some stitching so we can all calm down, even though you're all probably quite calm and it's just me. I've got 3 pairs of glasses here today. So now let's be mindful. We all right? Everyone see this? Let me look at now. That's why we've got the sketch, so I can remember what we're going to do. Oh yes, so I was going to put some fairy lights around the door. I was going to do a gold scallop stitch along here. I'm going to do woven wheel candy lollipops here, and then I'm going to do whipped back stitch candy canes here, and I'm going to do a heart here. And then, fingers crossed, I might get to do the tree as well, but let's see how we go. Now that I've got a plan, I'm going to start with the gold scallop stitch. Love that. Right. Excuse me while I zoom in. Oh, I can't, can do that though. Right, so this is a scallop stitch that works really nicely in gold, in the metallic threads, because the metallic is slightly more rigid. It works really well for this scallop because it kind of helps the curve. But this is, whoa, that's close. It's okay, I'm just going to zoom out. So there's this scallop here. This is what we're going to recreate today. I'm just going to zoom in. Maybe I'll make you see sick in a different way. So to do this, you basically, it's a bit like, it's the same as, kind of the same as blanket stitch. So you make a straight stitch. And then you're going to leave a loop. And then for blanket stitch, you would bring your needle up kind of directly above that stitch that you just made. But for a scallop stitch, you're going to bring your needle up in between the two stitches like so. And then you're going to return the needle back where you just made that first stitch. But because you're stitching over a thread, you don't, you know, sometimes when you bring your needle back through a hole that you've already made, you just undo a stitch. But because you are stitching over your floss, then you don't undo your stitch that you've just made. Once you get into the swing of this, it is possible to put your needle in and bring it out. Okay. Let's see, before I say that. Yeah, so you can put your needle in and bring it out at the same time. And then you can wrap your thread around the back of your needle. There we go. While I'm here, I'm now going to do my fairy lights around the door. So let's just add some beads. When I did the beads on the other house, I kind of, and you can see that I'm doing it here, I'm alternating either side of this white door frame so that they don't all kind of sit on one side. Least. Right, so there we go. We have got some fairy lights and we have got some scallop, and then I've just done some stalks for the, excuse me while I zoom out, stalks for the lollipops that I'm going to put in here. Oh yeah, so let's make a woven wheel, which is fun because we haven't done this very much. So let's split this into half. So I'm going to get 3 of these threads. Is that 3 or is that 4? That is 3 now. And then I'm going to do the same with this red. So basically I've got my length of thread here, floss here, and then I'm pulling out 3 threads. Right, so can you see? Can you see? I have joined my red and white floss together and knotted it at the end. And to make a woven wheel, the first thing you need to do is stitch 5 spokes for the wheel part of the woven wheel. Or you can do 3 or you can do 7. It just has to be an odd number. there's my sister. Welcome. Maybe she's just snuck off to the loo and she's checking in while she's hiding in the bathroom. If you're hanging around, Joe, I've got the most exciting thing in the world to show you. It has revolutionised our evenings. Right, so there you go. There's 5 stitches. Let's get rid. Oh, that was just random hanging up there. So there you go. There's my 5 stitches. Right, 5 stitches. And then I'm starting in the centre, bringing my needle up from the back. And that's the last time I'm going to go through the fabric until I get to the end. So that's the wheel bit. And now we're going to do the woven bit. So I'm going to bring my needle over and I'm going to use the slightly blunter end of the needle to do my weaving. So it makes it slightly easier. So I'm going over and under. And then over and under. And then over, and then because it's an odd number, we can go under where we went over before, and then under, and then over, and then under, and then over, and ow! It's just under and then over and under, and basically you keep going around here until you basically can't go any further. So you kind of want to disguise all of those spokes that you can still see at the moment. And you kind of think it's full, and then when you keep going, it just kind of keeps going. So Vix is asking what stitch I did around the door, the gold stitch, and I do really want to show you this stitch, and that's kind of why I left the back door, but time has run away with me, so we might not. There we go, there's one. I just want to show you. So I've got 2 sequins and now I've got a bead. Oh, now you're in focus. And then I'm going to stitch over that bead and back through the 2 sequin holes, which will hold those sequins in place. So what we're doing? We are doing a heart, which is a bit like the scallop stitch we were doing earlier. You can just dictate the shape of your heart by kind of working out, changing the distance of this first stitch. So I'm going to do quite a shallow stitch here. And then pull through till I've got a little loop that has got a twist in it to just be really annoying. And then I'm going to bring my needle out. And again, this determines the shape of your heart. So if you go up here, you'll have quite a tall, pointy heart. If you kind of go a bit wider, you'll have like a wider heart. But you kind of always want this second stitch to be higher than that stitch to get those nice arches on your heart. And then don't pull too tight. I feel I may have gone a bit too high on this one, but we'll see. That's okay. And then you do the same on the other side. Don't know why the thread's gone a bit loopy, but it has, but that's okay. Cute heart. Slightly wonky, but your right ventricle is larger than your left ventricles anyway, so maybe I'll leave a little bit so that we can get on with that next week. Oh, so now I'm gonna try and get my hoop. So this is what this is what Danny was talking about how I've already beaded this area, so you kind of got to be careful about how you position your hoop. I'm so happy about that zoom. So it's so you think, oh no, it's going to really stretch my felt, but because this felt is just really good quality, it doesn't stretch it out of shape. So you can barely see this line that I'm going to be following. Oh, it does make it look like a fancy marble house. So already, excuse me while I zoom in. Is it going to get boring yet? So, right, so this is one of those stitches that you want to, if you can, put your needle in and out kind of in the same stitch. So you're going to put your needle in and then bring it out kind of halfway back along that first stitch and slightly to the left. Christmas tree. So I've got two different colours of thread, green and white. Green and green. This is what the Christmas tree looks like. You start at the top and then work your way down. It's tempting when you sort of think that you're filling an area like this, it's kind of tempting to use more threads. But actually, I feel it's better to use less strands and do more stitches because you get a more refined embroidery. I'm just going to do the top two tiers of this Christmas tree for you, because my back is having a small query as well. So I'm stitching outside the lines of... It's really nice doing these Christmas trees. I'm just stitching outside the lines of the tree. So you can see that basically it's just straight lines going into this point, alternating the lengths. Oh, I've got another top tip that actually will come into force here. Just making those ones at the end slightly shorter to give that kind of tiered effects of the Christmas tree. And if it looks a bit weird, then try and make it more symmetrical by doing something similar on the other side. Honestly, that's what you do. And now I'm just going to do my second tier. Okay, so I'm going to sew the star on. So I've got my star, and then I'm just going to give so it looks like it's got extra extra spangles by stitching. Oops, let's get that out of the way. Stitching all around it. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. That's where we've got to. I think it's going to look really cute. Anyway, farewell and good night. Thank you.